Bruh. For context, some people know about this on the Discord. This is the third fucking time I recorded it. The intro video to this fucking series, and then and now I don't feel too good. Don't worry, I don't got the corona. I just haven't my stomach hasn't been feeling good today, so I just want to get this shit out of the way at this point. But fuck it, we're live, pal, and TEW 2020. So TW 2020, before I start up with, in case you haven't heard the news, and I assume you have by this point, is, what's it called? The game has been delayed until, the second week of May, in order to fix some problems that the game has been having. I haven't had that many problems with the game, but other people are, and that's more important, the problems that are being had than aren't. I'm absolutely fine with the delay if it means we get the best game at launch. Like I said, I haven't been having problems with it, but other people are. That's more important. So in order that, that kind of does put like, well, actually it really doesn't, because like I said, I was going to wait to do the WWE save anyway, and I had to because you can't play, you can only do July and February in the demo anyway. But this gives me more time to prepare for that. So technically, we're all winners here, at least on this channel. Uh, and the one thing I will say is I'm using different skin. This is the ice skin, I think. There's a lot of skins on the things already. I'm gonna make my own custom skin because making skins is so much easier than 2016. A lot of things are so much easier in this game. Like, I love the new features in this game. It's going to be so fun when the full release comes out. I'm going to be playing it on the channel. But the one thing I will say is in the coming weeks, I was busy with finals anyway. I am going to be. So, like I said, everything works out. But for this video, and I'll make another video, I'd like to do a fun little thing about the series so far for the WWE save. I would like to put to have like a little discussion type video. It might be a live streamed thing, maybe not, but if you could put in basically moments from the save on the channel, go through the YouTube show. Don't rewatch it if you remember the moment you want to post. Put those moments down, and I'm gonna make like a best of like kind of like the moments that I and you guys really liked. I like editing. It gives me something to do. And there'll probably be some non-TEW stuff. Like, I think I'm going to stream... I love Binding of Isaac. I mentioned this on the Discord. I might stream it just because I want to see how that works. And if not, then, that's what it is. But we are going to do a save for this game, of course. Who would have thought? And I mentioned Cverse. 64 has his Dave save, which is really interesting. Can't wait to see that. But we have our save, which is Queens of American Wrestling. If you didn't know, as I had basically made the comment that I wanted to do a AAA save, they fucking died, so that's out of the question. But in the Cverse, I'm not gonna go over the Cverse. I know people are making like introductory guides, but basically this Cverse, I really love this version of the Cverse because it's a changing of the guard. You really feel that. It feels like mid 2010s independent wrestling, where it's like names are really starting to become bigger deals on the indie scene rather than just in WWE or the big companies. So we have that, and this is especially true for women. A lot of the mainstream women are in companies such as Canadian Wrestling, is a Canadian Wrestling Alliance, CWA, I don't have it on me at hand, or United States Pro Wrestling. But we, as Queens of American Wrestling, we are the only North American company that has only women's wrestling. CCCW has integrated itself, as has ACPW, but we're the last kind of bastion of hope. We are truly responsible for the next generation of women's wrestling, and we're gonna take that and we're gonna run with it. That's like the feel that we're gonna have for the save. This is very loosey goosey at this point, just because I've done this a lot, so I'm just kind of fucked about the other shit. So I'm gonna go through rosters, teams, stables, titles. I could do the product real quick here. The product essentially is just American Luchadoras, as see here. So there's also kinds of, like, I know people are mad that the products aren't as customizable. I think they are, considering with some stuff. I would have liked the angle match focus thing to change up, if that can happen. But if not, I'm completely fine with it. So, like bumps and stuff like that. Having high spot luchador matches is less wear and tear on the workers. That's fucking great. And there's all other kinds of stuff, high spots, storytelling matches we need. We're basically a luchador company in America. We even use Technico and Rudos. At first I was like, but, is absolutely fine. So we're gonna go through the roster real quick, and then we'll just start with the roster. Or should we start? Now we'll start with roster. I'll go through titles as we go through there, just to save some time. Air Raid Siren. Air Raid Siren is the one I did. I don't think I mentioned this. I have hiring limits, so I did 1 through 60, random number, not 60. Holy shit, 6, 1 through 6. As a random number generator, and that is the maximum amount of signings we can make this year. And of course, I got 6, so it's not that fucking challenging. But one of our raids is Air Raid Siren. She comes from CZCW's Coastal Resort, and she works there. She is a heel. Probably going to be a jobber for the first year out, but that high flyer thing works pretty good. She's not the greatest, but, she's someone who could probably give some momentum to people who don't. And that's always needed. Alexis Lee Littlefeather. She is a staple of QAW, a staple of women's wrestling. She broke in with Babes of Sin City, one of the few girls to actually become a decent worker and stuck around. But she is 39 years old, and she's probably on her way out. I've never been too... she's booking her as alright. But it's really a kind of thing for her. Her stats are pretty decent, but again, it's more so just kind of just like the experience is good, but everything else is just kind of like she's a good hand, is what I'm saying. But she's not getting a push, and I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't retire pretty early on in the game, in the first year or two. I want to take this game a long time, of course. Alfonso Garcia. 34 years old. Here's our main play-by-play man, Mr. Agogo, as he adds Agogo to the end of random words for emphasis. Always thought that. Elena America, who is our current, biggest face, which is odd, which I'll get into. Essentially, she debuted in 2010, very green, and just kind of shot up the card, and now she is a 2-time world champion, and our current world champion. I will be honest with you. This is a tricky one, because I have never liked booking her at all. I've just not had the patience for it. I've not had the just interest in it. It's kind of like bleh. I've never been too into her. She hasn't really seemed to me to fit the whole QAW style. But, that's more of a challenge. I'm going to have to come with a character. All these renders will be changed by the first show. At least the ones that I want to change. That's just a thing I'm throwing out there. Not that I don't like, renders are fine. There's some renders that are like, but, I'm fine with them, So, some people are getting, I'm bringing this up because some people are, mad. Why isn't this render different? It's like, you can it literally takes 2 seconds to change it. Sometimes, I'm not sure where these people come from sometimes that have shown up recently. Reddit. But, it is what it is. But, if the game's crashing, that's way more fucking concern than the render. And this is a great render for her. Ashley Grover. Ashley Grover basically is the protege of Farrah Hesketh. That's how I pronounce it. If there's another way to pronounce it, tell me, and I'll probably ignore it because I'm fucking stupid. But no, I actually do. She's her protege, but in 2010, 2014, she left. She was having alcoholism problems. It was really bad. She then went to rehab, paid for by Farrah, and she returned an emotional moment in 2019. So she is going to be a big deal. 31, pretty good wrestler in and of herself. A little on the experience side for where she's at, but that always ticks up, so it's not really that big of a status. Ava Anderson, straight A Ava Anderson. She teams with Lily Schneider. I gave them a tag team name, but these two are the premier tag team, essentially. They have become I believe, yeah, it's 3-time QAW Tag Team Champions. Her and Schneider just tear up the independent scene for women's wrestling, and they are currently in a big feud, which we'll get into later. Becca Barton, I'm going to change this render just because, I mean, it fits, but I did not know who this was until I read the description, and this is actually Emma Bitch. If you played before Emma Bitch, she has changed her name. I believe this is her shoot name. But you know, she was she brought on to QAW a member of the Ronin 3, and I know I promised I wouldn't talk about stables, but Ronin 3 are basically the biggest stable in QAW of the ones we have. They're the most important. Just to kind of get a feel of QAW, you've never played them. Bossman Brayfield, that's us. That's who we're playing as. He's the booker, and he's the manager for Anderson and Schneider, which is odd because he was the manager for MMA, which is, you know, interesting. Coco Malloy is a new worker, came from California, graduate from the Pile Driver School of Wrestling, high-flying athlete, 3 years of experience, very green, but still very, very good. Yeah, dude, between 52 and 70 aerial is great for us. She's currently in a tag team with not Lily Schneider. I'll get to it when I get to her. But they're gonna be she's gonna be a good hand and hopefully rise up the card at some point. Commissioner Bomb, I've changed this render already. Commissioner Bomb is Cherry Bomb, who is she retired after AAA went out of business. I blame in canon her fucking shitty booking for killing QAW, so she is horrible. We hate her, but she has a great fucking promo, and she can cut, you know, good shit. So she is our in-house commissioner, which is interesting, but yeah, she'll be a part of many a storyline. Daniela Sweetheart, this is the real, like, major... Like, I'm gonna get her to major star, probably. 32 years old, she is Miss QAW. She's won the Queen of the Ring tournament, which is a major tournament that happens at our WrestleMania. I book it as a round-robin type thing, always have, always will. And she has won it 3 different times. She's won it 4 times, but 3 times in a row. She's now called the Queen of Hearts as a result. No, Natalia's here. Natalia sucks. Daniela Sweetheart rocks. Darkness Cat. She's a cat. She's Catwoman. That's the gimmick. She a jobber, kind of. Has cool momentum. Face jobber. Get some heels over. But she, you know, will still do good. 29 years old. We can still do a lot with her. But she also works in we have a partnership with CILL down in Mexico. MMA, she kind of debuted in 2016 TEW. She had a gimmick in injuring opponents with the Kimura lock, and I guess Radham just didn't give a shit about that gimmick. So now she just has her own stable, and she is rising up the card, and she is in the main event kind of scene there. Erin Lawrence is a referee when she's not getting power bombed by Giant Brody. Farah Hesketh is our owner. She used to work in AAA, won the Femme Fatale title, F for Angel Athletic Association, until a massive injury ended her career. Then later on, she was working all around the business when she opened in 2010 Queens of American Wrestling. So we've been around for 10 years. This is the 10-year anniversary of the company. So it's a big sticking point as to what we could have happen in the company. So obviously it's a big deal, so I have to book it as such. And the company has been a big success. Felicia Luck, a rookie in her fucking first year of the business. Jesus Christ, Tyler, calm down. Felicia Luck, in her first year in the business, she is good. She seems like a very good hand. All things when you look at him, more of a striker. One of the new kind of styles that could work. She seemed like she would be a good fit in QAW, given the fact that we can mold her like clay, literally. Just kind of mold her brain. I don't know what the fuck I'm getting at. Foxy LaRue, this is an interesting one. Basically was one of the bigger baby faces, kind of like I always booked and saw her as like a Daniel Bryan babyface. The company says she's not the face of the company, and she probably, like, she's not being booked like it, but just her charisma and attitude make it so that she just is the face of the company by default. But now she has turned her back on the fans. She's a main eventer, but she was heel, and in fact she's managing or not managing, the leader of the Ronin 3 of stable, which she has feuded with for years. So, you either live long enough to become the QAW World Champion, or I completely forgot the quote. Like, I'm a movie guy. How did I get the fucking quote from Batman? I'm just gonna leave it at that because that was just fucking embarrassing. Hellcat Hernandez, she has improved a lot in terms of her status in the company. She basically was a former team with Pamela Rojo and the establishment, and she beat Rojo's ass, and now she's running around kind of in the upper to mid card scene. She also works for CILL, and she has her own stable, so that's always fun to have. Honey Badger, one half of the tag team champions, another young line, 2 years of experience, rookie. She's more of an impactful wrestler, hard hitting, so obviously very, very good. Well, more it says power moves and clubbing blows, but it still fits the QAW style, a more modern take on women's wrestling. Houston Hanley is the part of Tex-Mex tag team, one of the longest running tag teams that we have in the company ever since Andy Establishment left. They had a lot of matches with Andy Establishment as well as Lillian Schneider. She has had some single success too, the game apparently says. Izzy Quick, 19 years old, rookie, teaming with Coco Malloy. They are the San Diego girls, a basic kind of tag team going on over there. Juana Hurricane was the original member of the original Ronin 3 with Tony Parisi and Jillian Jarvis. She turned technical in 2018 for not beating the shit out of Daniela Sweetheart. And then the Ronin 3 turned on her. Eventually, she got revenge by driving Jillian Jarvis out of the company to some shitty little company in not QAW, we're QAW in Canada. Really can't speak because my stomach fucking just turning knots up inside me, brother. Lily Schneider, I literally was just been using my mouse when I could use the arrows. Lily Schneider, 29 years old, the Wolverine. Already talked about that great tag team that they have. It just, the game really is iterating how great of a tag team they are. Marina Torres is actually Poison Ivy, the luchadora Poison Ivy. I'm not sure why. It doesn't really give me a specific reason why she unmasked to work in QAW, but she is tag team with Pinky Perez, who the game insists that they have had a lot of matches in Mexico, which I love shit like that. That'll be fun to book for me in the kind of how that all works out. I don't know what words I'm speaking. What I meant is I'm excited to book the tag team, which also I gave them a name. Maria Punen is the other half of the QAW tag team champions. Another kind of striker, so kind of a hard-hitting tag team. They actually won the belts off of Ava Anderson and Lily Schneider. So that's interesting how that works off. But I was just gonna say, just again, not to suck the game's dick because it has a lot of problems. I love that you can now set up like faces and heels. Like that dynamic is way more. It can be adjusted. That's fucking great. But we have that in order to promote. We're just picking up a lot of women's talent. So she obviously is young, and we're pushing them hard with the tag team titles. Millie the Minx, I'll be honest with you, she's kind of like Alina America or Alexis Lee Littlefeather. I don't know why I said it twice. I don't know why she's even hired. It's not that I don't like her. She's obviously a good hand, but she's just not the QAW style wrestler. So maybe there's a glass ceiling on her, but you know what? Maybe I can find something for her to do. Miss Mexico is just a road agent, 45-year-old veteran. Always good to see. Modesty Pador is trained by a Canadian Dragon. Joined up to QAW in the summer. Rookie year, technical striker. She's currently in the feud with Sara Taylor. Pamela Rojo, who has, as we mentioned before, was part of the Andy Establishment team before they split up, and they had a nice little feud, I assume, at some point. But Rojo's, 35 years old, kind of has a glass ceiling on her own in terms of her career, but we're going to try and make the most out of her because she is pretty decently good. Pinky Perez Luchadora debuted with Marina Torres. I don't know. Just my brain has been fucked these past 2 days. Son of a bitch. But she, obviously Poison Ivy. I just call her Poison Ivy when it suits me. But they have come down here. They have the Mass Feud to teach those damn Anderson and Schneider, the quote best in the business, a lesson. Raquel Alvarado is really good. I really like her. A little old, but we're gonna pretend like we're not hypocrites. We're gonna push her just because she is really, really good. I really, really like her. She does great things for me every kind of game. Mostly been in the mid card, but we're hoping to get a kind of we're hoping to get a very good change in that pace. Sara Taylor, one of the few AAA wrestlers to come over. She's now 25 years old, has 5 years experience. She only had one in AAA. She went from being this kind of, hey, happy-go-lucky kind of young wrestler to a more, her name literally was Little Miss Perfect, but I changed that because I just like Sara Taylor better. It seems like a good nickname rather than the actual working name. She's basically just a giant bitch. She's just a fucking asshole. And just, we don't know why. Maybe, I don't know why she thinks she's better than everybody, but yeah, apparently she is. Sonaz Shah, the Carpenter, which is a dumb fucking nickname. Iranian board wrestler. I will never stop thinking the Iron Sheik. She's come down here and she shows a pretty bright future, apparently. Teresa Perez, the other half of Tex-Mex. Oh, and Sara Taylor is our Shockwave champion, which is like our mid-card belt. Tony Parisi is the other part of Ronin 3. She was the other half of Crackdown with Juan Hurricane. Formerly Juan Hurricana. I forgot to mention that. Hurricane. I always like to add the extra A for some dumb reason. But she is the only member of the original Ronin 3 in each group. And then there's Vinny Cruz, and Vinny Cruz is pretty cool. He is the manager of the Ronin 3. He always does pretty good work. So there's that. I might forget to use him because I always do forget. But I also believe he was boning the shit out of fucking Jillian Jarvis at some point. Now we have teams. Best in the business is what I called Anderson and Schneider. Since I took that hint, I was like, okay, they probably think they're like assholes. They think they're assholes. They think they're the best. So why not just say you're the best? Lucha Bound is what I called Torres and Perez and Torres. Essentially because they're bound by Lucha Libre. In my headcanon, which we'll get into the more when we do actually start booking, is that Torres was unmasked by Perez, which is cause for, a little resentment there, but they seem to take that into... They put that on the back burner as they're dealing with the best in the business who are being assholes to Lucha Libre and QAW as a whole. Payback Inc., Tony Parisi and Emma Bitch, they're, just kind of a tag team of the Ronin 3. Tex-Mex, alright, said two-time QAW tag team champions. Good hands for us. The Rage, our current tag team champions. And then the San Diego girls, who are going to be, maybe being, get added some momentum. But, for the now, here and now, probably not. And then we have stables. Stables are important. Foxy LaRue is the leader of the Ronin 3, which the Ronin 3, basically how I book them, is their whole goal is for the world title. And everybody knows this. This isn't a situation like the Dynasty, where it's like, oh, I want the world title, and I'm going to use these guys. No, they know their place in the stable, quote unquote. They're here for Foxy LaRue to get the world title, but... Obviously, it's not a one-sided relationship. Fox will be like, okay, if I can help them win the tag titles, that will be beneficial to the stable as well. And Vinny Cruz is kind of like the support that keeps all the three girls together. Stormfront was founded by Juana Hurricane in order to fight the Ronin 3 when that feud happened. And they've stuck around, which is, kind of... I wouldn't see Stormfront lasting for a while, because we have a really young rookie, a really old veteran close to retirement, and then Juana Hurricane. So, a very cool fucking logo. I'm going to use that in other games, that's for sure. But, obviously, I don't see how they're going to be doing in the future. But hopefully whatever change is positive. The Clenched Fist. This is Hellcat Hernandez's stable, Best in the Business, and Felicia Luck. This is a loose alliance, and I take that literally. So basically, the Clench Fist come up and they have a goal. Like, if their goal is to fuck around with Stormfront or the Line, or to win a title for either the tag title, Shockwave title, or world title, it doesn't matter. Their goal is always interchanging, but their goal is set out with Vicious. Like, just they go for the goal. It could even be injuring somebody. That's what it's all about. The Furies is a stable, literally it even says just to get MMA over. That's about that. And then we have the Line. The Line exists to protect QAW. They are important to Ashley Grover and Tex-Mex. They are, the kind of the mainstays of QAW, and they exist solely to defend the company, not just from the Ronin 3 in my eyes, but to protect all of women's wrestling, the last bastion of women's wrestling, from everything that threatens it. And that's about it. We'll run through creative and storyline meetings. That's about it. Elena America's a franchise player. Gross. Next big thing, Sara Taylor and Sona Shah. Hot prospects, Shah, Perez, Schneider, Quick, and Pador. Patter. I might change your fucking name. I just don't like it. Bomb is a great talker. Farrah is a good talker as well. Pinky Perez is apparently a great talker. Foxy makes sense. And Little Feather can cut a decent promo. Showstoppers is going to be Perez, Hernandez, Foxy, LaRue, Danielle Sweetheart, and America. Ring Generals is Sweetheart, Juana Hurricane, Pinky Perez, Rojo, and Lily Snyder. Who's hot right now? MMA is the most hot. It's not like that. Not like that, brother. Oh, where's but no, in terms of momentum, May, LaRue, America, Hurricane, and Sweetheart. And who's not? The only really one with bad momentum apparently is Pamela Rojo. We'll have to get her some momentum. And then Hidden Gems. I think most of these are already on the short list. I have a huge short list. Christy Higgins, Joanne Silver, Joy Ryder, Kate Lilly, and then Sabrina Wells. All of them really, really good talents to have on the roster. And that's about it. The next episode of The Save will come out. It will come out when it comes out. If you know that reference, that's a good one. But it'll probably come out soon. But I'm going to probably space them out just because of how, the demo is being reworked and everything. I do have the event already pretty much booked. I used pre-booking. And settings. I should copy 6-4's idea. I'm not going to talk about the settings that I do or don't have. Just, pause the video and take a look at them. There's the main settings. There's the preferences. And that's about that. So, obviously, I'll see you guys in the next episode for QAW New Reign. I changed event names. I'll get to that at the end of the next episode. I'll go through all the events we have and their meanings and stuff. So thanks for watching. Hope you're having good. Stay safe, everything. I don't know how to end a video. So yeah.